What's good, everyone? Welcome back to My First Kicks. This is episode 150, and this week I welcome Femdot to the program. Well, to the podcast. I don't know why. This is like my third time recording this, and I keep saying program, but I welcome Femdot to the podcast. And if this is your first time listening, because you came through Femdot, this is a podcast that starts off with sneakers and just branches off into wherever we can take it. It's just a conversation. It starts off with sneakers, of course, because that's my passion, and it's a passion me and Femdot share, and you'll hear it in this episode. Every time I would go to his shows, I'd pull up and be like, "Yo, when are you gonna do my podcast? Would love to talk sneakers with you." And because we both have a mutual love for the Jordan 4, and it is just a great time. So I'm very excited for you all to listen to this. And just so you know, for my listeners, this is pre Complex Con, so we don't really go into my time at Complex Con in there if you're looking for an episode that talks about it. Also, this happened, I want to say like a week before Complex Con. So now after this episode drops, you are gonna start seeing some more recent videos, post Complex Con videos. And if you are here because you found me through my Complex content, just know it's coming. But this episode is great, and I want everyone to check out Femdot. I'm a huge fan. Like I said, I've seen him live. I wanted to just because this is his episode, I wanted to big up how much of a big honor it is to just witness his growth. He just finished headlining his first Chicago headline show, which was his first. It was a culmination, which we talk about his headlining tour because I interviewed him in the middle of the tour, so we talk about that and just his evolution and growth within music. So it's a really good conversation, and I'm very excited for y'all to listen to it. So on to where you can find Femdot. You can find him at femdot.com. So FEMDOTDOTCOM. And then also it's funny because his website is fem.dot and then it's .com. So everything that you need to do to find him, it will be in the description of this podcast. And you know where to find me. I am Who Is Haas on all social medias. Follow the podcast at My First Kicks Pod. Follow the podcast or subscribe subscribe and like everything on the YouTube page at My First Kicks. On YouTube, My First Kicks. On TikTok for, TikTok content. Try to make it loose on there. And at My First Kicks Pod on IG and Twitter. Hit up the link tree for extra links where you can support the pod also. And just have to say, because I've had a couple people tell me about the length of loading the podcast on Apple and Overcast Pod. I don't know. I don't know. I am turning off the video portion of the podcast, the video feed. So if you want to watch the video for this podcast, you have to go to YouTube to watch the video now. I am sorry for all the long load times. We're going to cut that down again. And I'm also, it's just a new thing. People were telling me it takes forever. I was like, oh, maybe that's cool. And some people were posting the Apple Podcast video, but I think to make things easier so that it's just easy to load and you can just jump right into the episode, I'm just going to go straight to just audio on all audio platforms and then video on YouTube until Spotify gives me access to video podcasts, and then I'll do video on there. So just so everybody knows, if you want to watch this, please go to YouTube. There will be no more video podcast on Apple Podcasts. So, but just know the video and the audio drops on the same day. I want to give it to y'all in full. So shout out to y'all for listening. 150 episodes. And I bring you this week's guest, Femdot. Hey, Fem, welcome to the podcast.
Man, thank you. Thank you for having me. We made it happen.
Yo, I mean, every time I come and see you live, you already know I'm about to hit you at the merch table. Be like, yo, when you jumping on
Hmm.
my
You
podcast?
have a podcast for sure. And I'm like, yo, tap in with them so we can do it. And then I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let's set it up. I'll be letting them know, like, nah, like, for our city, like, let's set it up. Like, actually set this shit up. So I'm glad we've been able to figure it out. So,
Nah, yeah. I mean, long time coming. I mean, the first time I met you at when you was opening, is that considered opening, or were you middling for Saba that
it's still
day?
open. It's technically still open. You know what I mean?
Uh,
I'm direct support, but, like, I'm not the headline. So I'm
mhm.
technically still opening. So supporting, but open, depending on who you
Nah, yeah. And then I was just like, I came up to you, and I saw you was wearing the cement fours that day, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yep. 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 That tour was interesting because I only packed four the entire tour.
I mean,
Like,
fours. Listen, fours is my favorite model. That's my
cause,
favorite model. So.
'cause you're a man with sense. That's why. That's why. You're a man with sense, with culture, with taste. I
Look, I
get it.
appreciate that. A lot of people can be like, "Yo, fours are uncomfortable. The back tab be hurting them." Be like, "Yo, just wear some
Yeah.
long socks."
On God, put some
Yeah.
socks on and you'll be fine. You feel me? Like, says more about your sock quality than the shoe. You know.
Yo, facts. But for people who aren't familiar with you, my listeners, how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, man. My name is Femdot. I am a rapper from Chicago. I do a lot of things, but I rap pretty well, and that's what you know what I'm saying. That's what I be on. That's who I am. I do a lot of stuff, but I'm a rapidy rapper from the crib.
Nah, I mean, you nice as hell, man.
Yeah,
When I first met you, I think I don't know. I know I told you last time, but I was like, yeah, I've been listening to you since 2020 when you dropped
yeah,
94 Camry. I mean, that's why it's back there,
yeah,
you
back
know.
there, yeah, yeah,
And like that album it was one of the albums that definitely got me through the pandemic because like it was just a vibe, and I was
yeah,
so like it was your album. I don't know if you call it album. Well, I'll call it album, but it's
yeah.
your album. And Chris's album,
Okay,
uh,
okay, yeah,
Innocent
that's it.
Country
I know
too.
exactly what you're talking about. That's
Hmm.
actually really, it's funny because I discovered him during the pandemic too.
Yeah, and I mean, he went. I mean, because yeah, he blew up at that time too.
Yeah, a
Like,
lot of people a lot of people who were just dropping music around that, like were consistently dropping music around that time, like
mm.
started to get up and like, damn, y'all moving up, y'all on the way up. So it's cool.
Yeah, you're one of those people. So it's really dope having you on. And I mean,
Choo! Ooh, excuse me.
bless
Thank you, thank
you.
you.
But
Thank
you're here
you.
to answer the question that I ask everybody each week, and that
Yeah.
question is, "What's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?"
The first pair of sneakers that I absolutely needed to have. Funny enough, first pair of
Hmm.
sneakers I absolutely needed to have were the Air Jordan 20s, the all black ones. Those are my like,
20s.
yeah, the 20s. I was in fourth grade, and I convinced somebody to pay $214 for them. So,
I
yeah.
mean, you ain't the only person that loves the 20s. I had Dre the Shoe God on. He also from Chicago, and
Mhm.
he's like, "Yo, I love the 20s, the Curry 20s. I gotta get them." And I was just like, I don't
I
know.
love it. I think everything after the 13, well, the 14s get a bad rep. I think the 15s
Hmm.
are hard. I think the 17s are hard. I like the 20s. I used to hoop in 21s. Like, but the 20s are hard. I'm sorry. I don't care. The 20s are hard. And when I was a shorty, they were like, I remember the day they dropped. And I had an uncle in town from like London or something. He was trying to like impress and like buy me something. Like, what do you want? Pick anything in the store. I'm like, them right there. Them what I want. Them it. Pick that. That was my first pair of Jordans. Them right there.
Man, I mean that's beautiful. You got the red pair,
Mhm.
black
Yep.
pair.
Yep. Right
All
there.
right, let
For the
me
right,
see.
the all black pair. Just so
Okay,
you know.
all black pair. Let's
Yeah.
go with this. I'm gonna read this real quick for the listeners. To celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Air Jordan 20 Stealth, Nike re-released the retro-inspired design in March of 2015 with revamped updates. The Air Jordan 20 Retro Stealth 2016 sneaker features a black nubuck and patent leather upper and double Velcro straps. The midfoot strap is etched with a laser cut Air Jordan design. The padded red lining offers comfort and support, while the cushion outsole promotes extended wear. I mean, if listeners, if you aren't, or people who are watching it, if you aren't familiar with the shoe, it's the one that you just strap it to your ankle and you're ready to go.
Are you
So
ready to go? And the thing, you know how convenient that was as a child. I wore them shoes for 2 grades. I wore them so much that the Velcro stopped sticking, and I like super glued the Velcro. Because I was like, if I can slide in here, we good. And I did every and anything in those shoes. It was
man, that's wild. So you grew up in Chicago your whole life, or you just like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah?
yeah. So I was in Chicago my whole life. Yeah.
And like, were you fortunate to be like, or were you one of those kids? Like, I feel like a lot of us, the big common denominator I'm finding in every episode I've done is like, you only had one or two shoes a year at max.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Hmm.
um, I remember when I was super young, I just really enjoyed air flight.
Hmm.
I thought they were so fly, but also they were just at the outlet stores that we would go to, and I thought
Hmm.
they'd be the hardest shoe ever did. But yeah, I think until maybe the eighth grade, seventh, eighth grade, like I had like siblings who would buy me shoes and shit. But 'cause I'm the
Hmm.
youngest. But before then, like yeah, you do our school shopping in like August, right before school starts, and yeah, you get two shoes. You know, I really got two just because my feet were small.
Hmm.
So yeah, you'll get 1 to 2 shoes. They got a last shoe. Maybe you could by the end of it, maybe by sometime next year, you could try to get some more shoes. But pretty
Hmm.
much them two is what you got. You gotta make them shoes stretch, clean them shits, make them stretch.
That's wild. You played ball too growing up, right? So
Hmm.
like, how were you able to stretch them sneakers though?
Man, so thank God, like either like I'll like when we play like AAU ball or something,
Mm-hmm.
like the team sometimes I have shoes for you. So that would be like a stretch. Or I'll end up just having a switch one of them bitches in the basketball shoes. So I learned early to buy basketball shoes as my other shoes, or like
Mm-hmm.
basketball shoes that I could also wear.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I had to really. Well, I think like sixth, seventh grade like, when I was playing ball, like some of the teams would have like shoes. Like, my first like basketball shoes, like basketball shoes was like
Mm-hmm.
I think a pair like T-Mac, some white and blue T-Macs, but they weren't like I didn't buy them shit. They was just came with the uniform, and we spent
Mm-hmm.
so much on the fucking payment plan for the uniform, so it just came with the shoes, you know.
Nah, yeah. I mean, I played ball a little bit. I couldn't like I didn't make any like my teams, like my high school
Mhm.
team. Not my high school. Well, I definitely didn't make my high school. I went to one of the worst
Yeah,
high schools in New York City, so I couldn't.
okay,
The team was terrible, so I was just
right.
like, I'm not even trying.
Somebody
But
can do it.
in middle school, I went to like a rich middle school,
Mhm.
and they were like, all right, you pick. We all picked the same shoe on East Bay at the time,
Oh
and
wow, yeah. All the East. I remember getting the magazines and just looking through all the shit I
just
couldn't
look at
buy.
the man, and so like we they were all like, oh yeah, we all go pick the team flights at the time, and I think it's the team flights because it's the white. We were white and red, so it was like
Mhm.
white and red, and it was like half white, like with little bits of white, and then it was like red, and it was
Exactly.
like this. I'm trying to. I think I don't. The Zoom flights came out, but not the team flights came out recently. But
Mhm.
that shoe was literally like the basketball shoe that we wore for like the entire. I was only there for eighth grade, so.
Right, but I can see that. Yeah, when
Mhm.
the team, there are only a certain amount of shoes that hit like crack when they drop. Some I don't understand, some I do.
Mhm.
Um, Hyper dunks, team flight. I mean,
Mhm.
Roshi runs too, which is a really random phenomenon. That was
I
really,
blame Kanye for that one though.
that was a really random phenomenon. I was like looking back, I was like, that's probably the one thing I was like, why did I have a pair of these?
I
Really
hated
random.
it though, man. I hated those because I never
Yeah,
owned a pair, but everybody had them, and I was like, "Yo,
everyone had. I
I'm
started
like,
doing. I Nike ID'd all of mine. It was like different colorways, had my name. I was trying to get. I'm like everybody got. I'm gonna get fly, but I was also like, why do I have these?
and speaking of fly, like in high school, were you one of the fly kids? Like, where'd you learn how to be as
Yeah,
fly as you are now?
by high school, I very much was. My high school was also like a fucking fashion show. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even start wearing sweats till I was like 22. Like, it was denim everywhere, like APC. So by the time I got into high school, like, that's my freshman year. Like, I always kind
Mm-hmm.
of dressed kind of very very intentional. I would say, or like
Mm-hmm.
very much myself. But by like my freshman sophomore year. One, I was like, I gotta find ways to get bread. I gotta start getting fly, and
Mm-hmm.
like, like as I was fly, but like like I'm on hand me downs,
Mm-hmm.
scraping bread here. So I just started figuring out ways to get money and shoes, and all of I ended up so about throughout the high school, I think I went through like 200 pairs of shoes.
Damn. Wait. How'd you get money
Yeah.
though? I gotta know. What's
You
the
know,
sauce?
I was just finding ways. I was just finding ways. You know what I mean? When there's a will, there's a way, and I was willing myself to sneak it. Um, so yeah, I went through a lot. I pretty much I was a big Jamie Scott guy. I still got a
Mm-hmm.
pair like Jamie Scott Adidas, like the camo ones, are my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Big Jamie Scott guy, and then Jordan. When phones was popping, I had like hella phones and hella shit. But really, it was Mike's. Like, you call them Mike's and shit.
Yeah, I know y'all call them mics out
Re-
there.
Really, it was Mike's. I had a hella Mike's. Yeah, yeah. So I wasn't best dressed in school. I'm not gonna like front my move like I was like because there were so many of us who dressed very well. But
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely somebody who like was in that like lane because I got into sneakers early enough where like you could still trade them. They weren't the resales weren't crazy. You could get shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I got cool with all like the streetwear dudes like early on, like the streetwear is really, really, really impactful and really important in Chicago, especially during my era growing up. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, like certain Chicago streetwear brands, like you was just as fly people who wore Gucci or whatever if you had a streetwear
Yeah.
brand, so
I mean, look at
uh,
what Joe Freshgood doing right now. You
yeah,
know, like.
exactly. So like you were around for the beginning of that, when he was
Mm-hmm.
working in a store for someone else. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, but it's cool because now that's like I still wear mostly Chicago brands. I still wear brands from people I know. I still have a pretty specific style, but I think it
Mm-hmm.
started because like I would just want to wear fucking streetwear shit from the crib, but definitely
Yeah.
no fly for sure. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Nah, that's dope. I mean, you talk about copping mad kicks when you're a kid. So like, and
Yeah,
I know you talk about, your family is definitely your family's not from America. So like,
mm,
and I also have immigrant parents. So when you
mm,
see more than one shoe, my mom's
yeah.
like,
She started asking,
"What?"
so, but I think the one thing that said like I'm the youngest, so and by like my junior senior year of high school, um, me and my brother didn't wear the same size because he
Mm-hmm.
wore like a half size bigger than me. But sometimes I would like wear his shoes, like or
Mm-hmm.
he'll like have shoes and like or he'll get them small, whatever. And like because I'm the youngest, sometimes like I like save some bread or have my sister be like, yo, I can grab you something. So I'm like, I would just always use them as an escape. Like, nah, like oh, I did have these, or nah, like these are so and so, like. But I was running through so many. Like I remember at a point in time I went like. Cause like you would trade shoes and then swap shoes and buy more and well I think it was a point in time I went like 3 months and I repeated my shoes like Monday through Sunday, which is just
Damn,
like yeah it was a crazy but that was just how my school was like niggas had Galaxy phones, niggas had Marty McFly, like it was one of them, like niggas just had shoe. I'm like, oh yeah, y'all got me fucked up. I'm gonna be fly, like y'all tweaking. Can't be left
that's
out.
wild. I wouldn't
Yeah,
even know what to do. Like if a kid's pulling up or a homie pulling up in some Back to the Future joints, and you like,
bro,
oh, I can't be rocking them regular J's now.
y'all gotta go to chemistry together. Like for y'all, you know what I'm saying? You see them in lunch, like hell no, you playing. Like I am going to throw on these taxi and like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm throwing these on. They
Hmm.
clean. I'm gonna be fly. You know what I mean? So it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Man, I mean, yeah, Chicago. I hear a lot about. Just I've never been out there,
Yeah,
and it's just like I just hear like the drip out there is just crazy too in terms of
yeah,
just like
man.
you know.
It is. I feel like people don't really give us enough credit for how we are with fashion. We have so many different styles. Obviously, like there are niggas who dress like her, there are niggas who dress like Dirk, there are niggas who, you know, like the yay ass niggas, like virtual
Mhm.
ass. I mean, there's so many like levels to how our dressing is. But I do think we have a very authentic sense of style, and I think and amongst it's different from other places. Our streetwear really is a staple in the city. Like our homegrown streetwear is, I think, it will forever be like things to have. You know.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, that's fire. I mean, I didn't get a lot of that in New York, just living in New York and stuff like that. I was
yeah,
for me, I mean, I was online a lot, so I wasn't
yeah.
outside. I could tell you was outside, so
I was outside a lot. I was outside a lot for sure, for sure.
so I mean, the differences of like, especially when you outside of Chicago too, I feel like it's totally. I mean, I watched The Wire, so
You
not
say
The
you just
Wire. I'm talking about. Wait, I'm talking about. It's not. There's The Shy. I watched The Shy. There we
yeah.
go. And so that I mean, before Homeboy got kicked out of the show, and then I
Oh
haven't been
yeah.
back.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, no, even outside in Chicago, the city, that shit's lit. That shit's, I ain't gonna lie. And you just, everyone knows, like, you was outside as a shorty, like, it's hard to, like, not know somebody or, like, like, we all kind of grew up in the same spaces, like, through basketball and, like, niggas become
Hmm.
rappers or, just cool niggas and scammers and gangsters. So you end up just knowing so many of the same people. Yeah, I was definitely outside. That's crazy. He's like, yeah, I can tell. You
I mean, listen. If anybody's listening to this and haven't heard Fem's music, you could once you start listening to him, you'd be like, "All right, he was outside."
know, so I was a good kid though. I was a real good kid. I just also was outside. You know, that's all. It's life about balance.
Nah, yeah, for sure. I mean, you definitely talk about going to college for basketball and stuff like that. So like, where did that like start for you? Where you were just like,
Um,
I think I'm gonna go pretty far with this.
which is funny. Is the crazy thing is like you think and like when I think of like college football, that's like NCAA rules. Like like that song is about like three different people. Like I started playing
Hmm.
ball in high school.
Hmm.
So, I realized I wasn't gonna go far because niggas kept growing and I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, so like in my high school was super competitive. Like, we had like a Mr. Basketball like the year before I started high school, and like
Hmm.
we've always kind of been known for like basketball and shit. So, um, like going through high school and shit, like I was more in the AAU circuit because I was so small.
Hmm.
So then, and I was running track too. So I was like, all right, cool, I can get a scholarship for track, but I don't want to run track. Like, I want to play ball or something, but like, I'm fast as hell, so fuck it. So I would
He was like,
stop
I'm
running.
out.
Yeah, but like, I got like, I got like my sister ran track, like in the Olympics type shit. So it's like I'm able to
Hmm.
see what that looks like. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
That's
But
wild.
then
She made it to the Olympics.
twice, but
That's crazy.
yeah, she's the goat. So I was able, so she went to the Olympics my junior year. So I was able to like see that up close while I was still running. And I'm like,
Hmm.
nah, I'm good on that. And then I stopped playing ball that year too. I'm like, nah, like I'm good on that. I'm feeling like I play ball with my homies or whatever, but like I was also rapping then, so I'm like,
Hmm.
school and rap. Yeah, it was school, rap, outside. It was school, rapping, and outside. That's all it was making sure my grades was good. I was rapping good, so I can go. I
Hmm.
got my grades was good, so nobody would bother me when I went outside. You know what I mean? So,
Nah. Yeah.
but I grew up around hella just college athletes, so I'm able
Mhm.
to kind of, and there's so many of my homies that I grew up with, or in so many circumstances, that we talk about heavy, that I'm able to kind of see what that world is like and like
Mhm.
be able to speak to it.
So like I've always talked about this with other people. I mean, so was the moment of just you being like, "Oh, I'm not growing, so I don't think I thought I'm good," or was it just like, "Oh, I played against somebody and it was just like, oh, I'm good."
Both, both things happen at once. So like, yeah, I was little and shit, but I was freakishly athletic as a child.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I technically still am, but I'm getting older now. You feel me? When I was a shorty, I was free. Like I was the first time I like dunked, I was like 5'6". Like, you know what I mean? Like 5'5". I
Jeez.
wasn't like I jumped really high. I wasn't really fast. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I was a scrappy and more like a defensive guy. Like my shot super freaky. Like mid range is cool, but I'm super sneaky. I'm more of a defensive guy. I jump more. I feel like I was like if I ever played like I feel like if I end up being a big nigga, I'd have been a dude guy. Like personally, like you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
wouldn't be. Um, but so I'm like, okay, I'm not growing. That's one thing, cool. But I still can defend. I still can do all this other shit. And I was like, yeah, I'm tired of having to keep try out to like make it to the final cuts and then pick somebody taller. Um,
Hmm.
but then I also play AAU basketball, and my class is Jabari's class.
Oh
Um,
wow.
you know what I mean? So like Jabari, Jaleel Okafor, and like all these niggas, I'm watching niggas like even like I remember like Jalen Tate, like a bunch of niggas. I'm like, who are these niggas? Like I know like I mean I remember even watching AD when he was in high school because his high
Uh-huh.
school was trash. Like the high school he
Yeah.
went to was trash, but he was
Hmm.
just such a freak of nature. But I remember being
And he
on
was
the A.
playing point too at that point too.
Yeah, yeah. So imagine being on the circuit and just seeing these niggas. I'm like Jabari in eighth grade was some of the craziest. Jabari by my junior year was some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like, I mean, I've seen Derrick Rose, but I didn't play in that. So you know what I mean? Like he's older.
Yeah.
That was the craziest shit I've ever seen. It's
Hmm.
watching D Rose and Eric Gordon as a backcourt. Oh my god, them niggas play AAU ball together on this team called New Street.
Yeah.
Which is why I like on 94K music. I'm like, so D Rose play New Street.
Hmm.
And that backcourt was some of the craziest shit I have ever seen. Like,
Did you ever go to those games when you were younger?
yeah, so like I would, when you're younger, you'll be like, like they'll have like, like 16U or whatever, 16 and then they
Yeah.
have like younger niggas. So I'll catch
Hmm.
some of them from there. And then at the time, one of my brother's really close friends was Mr. Basketball by 2008. So like,
Hmm.
I would, go to some games and see shit. I've seen them niggas play basketball, and that was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, watching a 16-year-old Derrick Rose is terrifying. Terrifying.
Fresh legs. Like
I'm talking about like get the ball, windmill,
yeah.
rock the cradle
He was
backwards.
going crazy, yo. He was
I'm talking
going
about
crazy.
he's blocking niggas shits with two hands, taking them off
Hmm.
the glass, and then he's the fastest person on the court. So he's running down the court and catching it here, moving here, and ending here. And then don't let like him be like double team. He's kicking it, and Eric Gordon is pulling from the low. It was the most disgusting shit I've seen in a very like. I still think Derrick Rose is still like my goal.
Hmm.
Like I mean, obviously I talk about Kobe Bryant and shit, but like watching that nigga play basketball was scary. Was terrifying. But then seeing like niggas like
Imagine guarding him, bro. Like you guard him,
what?
I'll be like, all right, man, take me out the game. Like,
Bro, like you imagine guarding that nigga and having world history afterwards. Like having to go to class, having to go do fucking geometry homework. Like you know how bad that must felt? Like,
be like, yo,
nah.
and then everybody whispering, yo, Derrick Rose dropped 50 on him last night. You'd be like, nah,
Yeah,
bro, I ain't coming in.
yeah. I'm not coming like that nigga used to be the school you go to in general, Simeon, that's where like Jabari Parker went to. That's where
Hmm.
like a lot of these cats went to, like Simeon, really young, they're some of the top schools in the nation, but also like definitely in Chicago. So it's like yeah, nah. But watching them was crazy. But then like seeing like AD hoop or seeing Jabari Parker hoop,
Hmm.
niggas went. I'm like niggas not going. I'm like niggas not going to the league. Niggas not going to the league. I'm sorry, niggas not even going D1. If that's how niggas is hooping, I can go D1 with track. Like Jab- that nigga won like 4 chips. Like from his
Yeah.
freshman. That nigga was disgusting, bro. Jabari
I
was
mean,
disgusting.
you ever had to get switched and put on him, and you were like, all
Hell
right,
no.
we good.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. They knew it. Hell. And I think in the spring, I think the last time, I think the only time I played the box, I was in maybe like eighth grade or something like that.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh God, this is terrible. This is terrible. Like terrible. Yeah.
Man. I mean, that's wild. I do want to. I was wondering because you talked about copping a ton of kicks, like
Yeah.
in high school, right? Did you ever have to do like lines out in Chicago, or were you? I mean, you was outside, so I mean,
I mean, I have never, no, I've never actually stood in a line for a pair of shoes. I have gone to get a pair of shoes. I remember when they go to concourse drive and everybody got them bitches and they won to this like tournament called the Dip. There was like a whole, there was a photo that went viral online. You may have
mm-hmm.
seen. You may have seen it. It was like a photo, and it was like 12 people all in a row with the same concourse with the cargo. That's
Yeah.
from that's like our tournament. That's where the picture comes from.
Oh, okay, okay.
Very crazy, but yeah, never had to actually wait in line for shoes. But also because I was either like grabbing the drops a little after or earlier, or
Mm-hmm.
the shoes I wanted weren't dropping. Like, you know what I mean? Or then I figured out how to like get shit, get hella shoes online. Once I figured out the online game, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really waiting in line for
Mm-hmm.
shoes. And like, it'd be just too much hassle. Like, you got to get a raffle or get a ticket, or even before then, you just waiting and niggas get antsy and you got to get up there. And I'm still like not really trying to let my mother know how I'm getting shoes. So like me, like being like, yeah, I'm gonna go wait in line. For what? You want to go wait for what, Jordan? Why are you waiting for Jordan? Like, I don't really got time. I don't got time for all that. So I was like, okay, found a way to figure that out, you know.
No, yeah. If you people, I feel like I've always heard people be like, "Oh yeah, man, I just tell my mom I'm just gonna go and wait online and it'll be fine." I remember I told my mom, my mom's Brazilian, so
Oh yeah,
straight from Brazil,
for sure.
and so like, I told her, "Yeah, I'm gonna go and wait online overnight." She was like, "What? People get killed outside?" You like what? I'm like,
No,
what? And then she
facts.
instantly just shock me and tell me you got to stay inside. You can't do it. Yeah. I don't know how
Yeah,
people did it back in the day.
that's over. I don't know how niggas getting away with that shit. You talking about you waiting outside for how long? Yeah, no, I ain't even. That didn't even cross my mind to ask my mama to wait for. Hell no. I mean, I probably wasn't gonna tell her the truth anyway, to be honest. But yeah, I wasn't even trying to. I'm like, nah. Whatever shoes I need to get, I'm gonna find a way to get them.
Man, I mean, that's wild. And I'm pretty sure. Did you have you ever heard like a story since you haven't been on the line? Was there like a big story that would like pass around from people about a sneaker line that just went crazy?
Man, niggas just getting shot in line, niggas just fighting in line. Hell yeah, all type of shit. Hell no, I'm not gonna. What? Not me. What? Yeah. And we had a couple like malls that really only stayed afloat because of sneaker drops. Like motherfuckers weren't really like
Hmm.
buying regular shit. It was just like motherfuckers would go there to get shoes. And hell yeah, niggas would get rowdy or something. Them bitches. Not me. Nope. And like also like this was a simpler. This is before bots. This before like all this new resale call. Like you able to, if you miss a drop, you can get some shoes. Like you can still get
Yeah.
them if you really want them bitches, or if you know the right person. Like you can now the game all fucked up, but it used to be pure.
No,
Now
yeah, it
it's
used to be. I
pure.
think that I look, we I think we're trending that way again. I
Uh-huh.
think I mean, if you look at today is by the time of this recording, the Royal Ones dropped the suede
Mhm.
joints,
Yeah.
and I mean they everybody's talking about how they don't want them, and I'm just like, all right, cool,
Niggas is
let me.
tired.
So like I think we're trending that way. The resellers aren't really making a ton of money anymore, so I think we getting there.
I hope so, man. I miss the days of like I miss the days of coming somewhere and seeing how people with the shoes because everybody's able to get I miss the days of shoes not being resold for thousands of dollars and
Mm-hmm.
you know a week later it goes from 240 to fucking six stuff. Like I just want people to be able to have shoes and enjoy them. You know what I mean? Like I miss those days of like actually reselling, trading, like people caring about the shoe, like the quality
Mm-hmm.
of the shoe, real discourse about the shoe. Now niggas is just buying shit that they think is popping. Like y'all don't even really care about the shoe for real. That's why they keep remaking these like random ass qualities of shoes. Like y'all don't give a
Mm-hmm.
fuck about the shoe.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing right now is definitely a lot of people don't appreciate the stuff that they're buying. They're like, I'm literally talking about the people that bought a sneaker, right? And it's in transit on their way to their house and they already moved on to the next shoe that's coming out tomorrow,
Yeah,
you know?
y'all need to enjoy the shoes. Like appreciate this. Like I mean, I appreciate the art that goes into a lot and the detail that goes into a lot of these shoes, and I feel like motherfuckers
Hmm.
don't really care. Like they just buy them because they think it's cool. Or like we used to collect retro cars and and like the boxes and the retro cars like a flex. Yeah, I got hella retro cars.
Yeah.
And or just knowing which colorway was what and what was the history behind it and why was it important and why is it cool to re-release. And I mean, it was like really some nerd shit, but that shit was raw. Like that shit was raw. But now it's not. No one really care. Like, and I don't say no one because there's still a whole community of people who care about shoes. But like, that it was like a language. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah. Yeah. That's what I mean, that's why I started this podcast. It's just like
Hmm.
that's what's missing, like the that everybody's it doesn't like it's cool when brands talk about it, like they'll give you a story to appreciate a shoe, like
Hmm.
for example, recently the Union ones that just dropped, right? And that's the story about Chris Gibbs and his wife meeting
Right, right,
and
right.
like and that's cool and everything, but like what's really dope is when people talk about why they bought the shoe and
Hmm.
and in their relations to them of like oh this is me and my wife like this same
Hmm.
kind of story like that's dope. Like I think that brands are taking trying to sell us culture without us letting us build on the culture, so it
For
creates
sure.
this circle of just not really appreciating the shoes when we get them, and
Yeah.
that's like the biggest thing for me.
It kind of gets empty. It's like you don't have like I have some shoes that I still have. Like some like when I got a little older, I traded and sold so many of my shoes that I should have kept. Dear God, I could have probably paid off a mortgage. Um, but a lot of my grails aren't like that I like rebought or like like I kept like aren't like necessarily popular shoes. They just mean so much to me, right? Like,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of people's grails and people that they're keeping or that they like hold close to them is just because they're expensive or they're nice.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, nah, like one of my favorite girls, I have a pair of Jordan Pewter ones, the Pewter ones,
Hmm.
and those are my first like mics that I grabbed like in the sneaker like culture myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Love them shoes. While wear them to extinction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it's like no one's gonna be like, oh, pewter ones. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I
I
mean?
mean, like that's what I'm saying though. But that's a grail. Like I've always had this big back and forth online with people because I think that people have watered down the term. Right?
Absolutely.
It used to be a shoe that like I always consider it like the biggest grail that anybody can have, and you could never talk shit about is a shoe that they bought when they was a kid, and then they were like, "Man, I missed that shoe." That shoe gets released again, and
And
you
they
like,
buy
oh,
it.
I'm gonna get, and then buy it again. And you get to
Yeah,
relive that memory, and I think that's like the
yeah.
purest form of a grail.
It's beautiful. Like imagine, or like I bought like I have eggplant phones, like with the boots. Like I
Hmm.
remember when they came out, when they first came out, like 08, 09, I missed the drop, and I was so heartbroken.
Hmm.
Cause then like that was the thing. So once they came out again, I bought them bitches immediately. I don't give no fuck about nothing. Like anybody else is telling me. These are fire to me. You know what I mean? Like niggas don't
That's an
get
outside shoe. I'm gonna tell you right
the
now. That's an outside. That's an outside shoe.
eggplant joints. This is hard. I'm like, these is just hard. The right pair of pants. These motherfuckers is tough.
uh
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I always tell the story about like everybody kept telling me you got to get the eggplants. You got to get the eggplants when I was young
Yeah.
because that's a big New York shoe. Like
Yeah. Oh
foams
yeah.
are a big New York shoe, right?
Yeah.
So I go in and I put them on. I'm a size 13, and I put
Got
them
you.
on, and my foot looked like a legit like an eggplant at the store,
Yeah. I'm
and I
sure
was
they.
like, we good.
Like, I'm sure those are the colossal. I'm like, this is. They
You
like
have a
that.
bald because I heard they're uncomfortable. Like you have to break them in. You have a bald in them.
Not the one, because the ones I got are the boots. So I didn't borrow. I never
Oh,
bought
you
them.
talk oh the like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ACG boot.
ACG, yeah, ACG,
Yeah.
XF phones. But I bought in two big dumbass shoes. Well, not even one, three. I bought in the Tim Duncans,
Mhm. Mhm.
like, cause those are like a real. Cause I was the only one like on the side of that Mississippi, fucking that side of the Mississippi with them bitches, and them bitches were big as fuck.
They
I
are.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck kept hooping them, but I hooped in them before. Terrible decision. I've hooped in pearls, like the pearl phones.
Mhm.
And I feel like after you gotta break them in for sure. Once you break them in, they're not terrible. Like I had a homie in
Yeah.
college who only hooped the phones. I never understood that shit. And then I used to hoop in I've hooped in the I think the kamikaze, not the kamikaze, the Shaq pump, the Reebok pumps, like the first
Oh,
version.
okay. Yeah, the Shaq, the
Um,
blue chip joints, right?
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
And they were cool because I remember they came out the same day as like the Bugs Bunny 8s, and I bought the Shaqs instead because I was like, I want to see what they like. And I
Hmm.
was the only person with them. I'm like, cool. But them bitches was also had like hooping in them. I'm like, I don't know how niggas are hooping in these. Like, these
And
are
Shaq
not
is size like 22 and he pooping on
right.
them joints.
Yeah, I'm
Mad
like,
heavy.
my shit, I'm like a 9. Like, I ain't even, you feel me? These motherfuckers is heavy.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. I mean, so like you transition into hip hop, or well, I don't know why I said it that way. That was weird. You transition into spitting and rapping, and
yeah, for
so
sure.
I felt like an old man saying it that way. Jesus
Hey
Christ.
man, hey, 50 years of hip hop, man. 50 years. 50 years. For sure.
So you start rapping, right? And I've always so I ran it. I met somebody who would host the open mics in Chicago one day, like mad randomly.
Oh,
And I
wow.
don't yeah, and I don't know if you ever did it. It was like at a cafe. I think he was telling me like he was holding it at a cafe. You just put your name up, and I don't know
I've
if
done
you ever.
I've done them at every open mic that can be done
Mhm.
like around my time in Chicago. So I'm curious, who'd you meet?
I'm gonna have to look at my phone after we finish doing this, so I
Okay,
can tell
for
you
sure,
like
for
the
sure,
dude's
for
name.
sure.
But
Yeah.
I'm very curious because like New York has its had. I don't even think there's a real open mic scene now. Now I think it's more. If you stay here one extra like a week, we could do like the beat scene around here
Yeah,
because there's a lot of like shows where they're like thriving beat scene. I have a couple homies that are in there that does
that's
that
tough.
stuff.
Like, that's
Um,
tough.
so like that's what's popping in New York now. But like when you were starting music, like what was that like open mic scene? Because I've heard nothing but legendary stuff about like
That
how
shit was
crazy it was.
that shit was it. That shit was every the Grammys to us. That's just every like your name would be on stage. Like I met so many the people I'm homies with. We've been able to watch everyone grow. It was
Hmm.
the easiest way. It's the way to build a fan base. It's the way if you watch a lot of performers, at least from my era in Chicago, and from like the eras before me, like there's a reason why they perform well. Like you're performing in front of people every week. You're like there, ain't no backtracking, ain't no fucking microphone. You gotta
Hmm.
project, ain't no none of that. So open mics is everything. That's how you got your name out. It was either like you grew up on some open mic shit or some like street shit and internet shit. Like the like open
Hmm.
mic shit was how like the poetry scene and the rap scene and the organizing activism scene went hand in hand. So
Hmm.
yeah, open mics is everything. Like, you all you wanted to do is get your name on that list and like get called and like make a good impression so you can get called next time and then like you was able to feature at the open mic. That was like having your own show. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, open mics developed all of us. Like when you look at Chance, Nene, Saba, Mick, John Doe, fucking like is it the blank like it was
Joey Perp.
Perp, yeah, Perp,
Hmm.
pretty much all of Say Money, all of Pivot Gang.
Hmm.
When you look at all that, like it's open mic. My first time meeting Pivot Gang was at an open mic. You know what I'm saying? Like my first time meeting a lot of these niggas was at an open mic.
Hmm.
It was very,
Were you
very
were you ever intimidated doing it, like, or you
what,
feel like this
bro? I
is?
used to be concerned, bro. Cause we would get. I remember the first time I came to like, if it was really the main two at that time was one called Unity and another one YCA.
Hmm.
I don't remember the first time I came to Media, bro. I thought everybody was older. I'm like, ain't no way everybody was this hard. Like, ain't no way everybody this raw. Everybody was so. It's like it was equally as intimidating as it was like exciting. Cause you like, cause also the same top like I'm from the crib. I ain't no bitch like y'all tweaking. Like I'm finna. Don't let me get up there. I'm finna act a fool. My shit
Yeah.
hard. But it was just crazy to see so many talented people who were so young. And we were so young. Everybody was young as fuck. You know what I mean? We're talking
Mm-hmm.
like between 14, 16, you know what I mean? 18 at the oldest. But like doing really crazy groundbreaking things. And it's just like you more or less just like, yo, I can't fuck up here. Like you down there at home practicing your shit to make sure it's clean for when you do get that call. Cause
Mm-hmm.
if your shit weak, ain't nobody gonna be disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? You gonna have to work on your shit. but you may maybe a minute till you get back up there on that list, you know.
Yeah.
So,
What was the? I mean, I gotta make it. I feel like this. I asked this question to other performers too, but like, what's that? Did you wear like your favorite shoes to pull up, or did you like?
I'm getting flea, boy. What? I'm getting fly as hell. Oh my mama, I'm getting fly. I think I'll never forget the first time I like was able to really like new media I never performed. I kinda was just in the back observing. I think I
Hmm.
maybe performed maybe once, but I never really performed. But YCA is when I really started performing. And I remember yeah, like the first time I performed I put on my military blues. I'm like, cool, like it's what I need. I'm
Hmm.
finna do that. You know what I mean? Like every I'm fly. Cause also like that matters too. Like, do you look like I'm like I'm in this bitch fly. Like you walk up there, hey, who is that? Yeah, yeah. And I'm finna rapidly rap for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I remember the fit I had on them there, like to a T. Them there.
Hmm. The like, is there a fit that you like go to for like big shows too?
You talking about now or like?
Yeah, yeah. Now.
Well, now I pretty much I feel like now I've done much simpler in how I dress. But I think I guess as of now I have a little uniform. I'm in my I have an era, so I guess if somebody wanted to dress up like me for Halloween as of now, they would just need a black fitted, probably a progression fitted, or some sort of like Chicago fitted, a pencil and
Hmm.
a tank, some black pants, and a pair of fours. You know what I mean? That's pretty much who I've become, at least for now. I'm sure I'll change. I'm sure there'll be another era with another, maybe a big.
I feel you. I feel you. I mean, look, I went to see you your first headline show in New York, and I mean, you crushed it. Told you that after the show. You know, the it's really dope getting to see you on that. From I mean, seeing you three different times and
Right,
just
it's
like
crazy. I appreciate you for that. That's super raw, man.
but I mean, you always put on like one of the dopest show. I definitely want to know like it sounds like you grew up in a very talented family. So like how to how did you break it to your mom or your parents like, oh, I'm doing rap, and then how did they take it?
I mean, I've been rapping since I was like 6 years old for real. So I've
Mhm.
always been rapping. It's always been a hobby. I think my parents, well, especially my mama, like my OG started really picking up on it in high school. Like I always go to go talent shows. Like, cause my mom, I used to go to open mic. Open mics used to be far as hell from my crib.
Mhm.
So, cause at that time it's downtown and like we right on like the outskirts of the city, like right on the bar, like in these like black ass suburbs. So like we coming back into the city and then I'm going to the north side. It's the whole situation. Um,
Sounds
but
wild, bro. It sounds like 3 hours to me.
nah, it's just not even. I mean, if I'm on public transit, maybe. If I'm public transportation, maybe. But, you know, I had got once I got my little Camry, I was out and about, I was everywhere.
Mhm.
But so she always knew. She kind of started noticing seriously more, like when I was in high school, because I did poetry shit too. So she like come to little poetry competitions and shit. Um, and my grades were decent, so like she never stopped me from any of my passions. So
Mhm.
my siblings knew, you know what I mean. But I think my mama really started like knowing when I came back to Chicago in 2014. Like, all right, cool. Like, this is what this nigga trying to do. Like, he in school,
Mhm.
but this is what this nigga trying to do. So they kind of was like, all right. I think you know how like immigrant parents are. They just thinking survival. Like they just thinking
Yeah.
like well, how can we survive? So they don't really thinking abundance. They never had the chance to. Um. So with her, like it didn't really start making sense till shit started like happening, or like I started getting bread or whatever. But she
Mhm.
was able to notice it. Like I mean, like my sophomore year of high school, my high school did a documentary on me, like of me as a rapper. You know what I mean? So she like, oh, okay, they must fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like little shit like that where like she was able to kind of get glimpses. But I think it was really in high school when she started picking up, and then in college when she was like, all right, like this is what you really want to do. Like when you see something type shit.
I mean, what's her perspective about it now? Is she like,
And
is she pushing you more, or is it
she fuck
like?
with it, bro. She fuck with it super heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like she
Mhm.
just glad that I'm one doing what I like. And it's working through. But you know, I gotta pray on mama. She gonna just pray for me and
Mhm.
let it, you feel me, let it happen. But Yeah, she fuck with it though. You know what I'm saying? She tapping in every tour date or every whatever. Like she check in, she comes to the street, and she come to my little headline shows in Chicago and shit. She be happy for me, which is really well.
Hmm.
Like she fuck with it super heavy. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool for her.
Nah, that's mad dope. I shit, I had another question after that, but it was, oh, my bad. Like, so I mean, we talk about, your hustle, and I think that, you turned this into a career.
Hmm.
I mean, I saw that you recently did stuff for Rap Shit, the show
Yeah,
too. So,
yeah, yeah.
you always doing. I always repost your backroom freestyles all the
Appreciate
time, like whenever
that.
you post them,
Appreciate that. Yeah.
because you just mad nice with it, and I just want to know, like, where'd you get your drive and your hustle from? Like, what does that come from?
Probably stem from my family for sure. I told you my sister's a two-time Olympian in the
Hmm.
winter and summer Olympics. She's one of the only Africans to ever be in the winter. So she's the first African to ever be in the winter and the summer Olympics. She
Wow.
started the Nigerian bobsled team. Like she crazy. You feel me? Like um, so seeing how she kind of moved through the world helped me a lot. And then my oldest brother used to rap. That's how I got into music. So I used to watch
Hmm.
him just write for hours, like in the corner of his mouth. Like how Eminem used to write on fucking 8 Man, like in the crevice. Like, that's how my brother
Yeah.
used to write. So I got my like idea of writing like so much from him. Um,
Hmm.
but I think like my sister and then just like being first then like they just being black in general like motherfuckers just want you to be you have to be over talented or like you have to work twice as hard or whatever. So
Yeah. The
I just
whole get it out the mud mentality.
right, which is also not necessarily healthy, but I understand why that's a thing.
Hmm.
So it just came from that, like how I grew up, like and just being disciplined in that. Like, all right, do you want it or not? Well, let's see. So
Nah, I love that. And then I definitely want to touch on, because we haven't talked about it, but your charity, right?
yeah,
Charity,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
Della Creme Scholars.
yeah, for sure.
But like, what because I definitely want people to learn about it, and jump on, because I'm big on just helping communities, and big
Yeah.
on volunteering, and donating, stuff like that. So like, why am I saying it wrong? What influenced you to start it, and do your thing with it?
I do enjoy helping people generally.
Hmm.
It's just something I like and passionate about. So like I'm like, damn, if I can make a situation that's better than the situation that's right now, why not? So I had the idea like for a scholarship when I was in school still, and so once I finished school, I'm like, fucking this is like if I can find a way to do it, I don't need to be big as hell to do it.
Hmm.
How can I find a way to do it? So that's kind of where it came from. Like I was broke in school, so why not help somebody else? And seeing like what Chance was doing, seeing what Sabo was doing with John Wall Foundation, and seeing like okay, like I can use mine like influence, even if mine is not as big as them. I can use mine to help people. So why not? You know. So yeah, that's really what it was. And my mom also like like my mom does everything. She'll give her last up like to help like her community out. Like I've
Hmm.
watched her go out of her way to like make sure our community is straight. So it's like I've seen that every day. I've seen like how careless, I mean how selfless she is in terms of like wanting to help her community. And I'm a
Hmm.
community baby for real too. Like very much like I was telling people little brother, right? Like I'm telling people big homies. Like I'm here because my community has kept me here. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
I kind of owe it to that to like help when I can. You know?
Nah, man. I mean, that's beautiful. I always tell people, if you want to see change, you have to start with community, because
Absolutely.
you need a foundation to start. Because if you just help one person, right, it's not gonna help everybody, and everybody else becomes envious about who's getting the help. But if you help everybody at once, it will just help people going forward.
Mhm.
It creates that chain, and the that's why I love volunteering. Even though, like, I'm helping the person personally, but like, we as a group volunteering, helping the community, then it
Yeah.
makes a bigger impact. It
Hmm.
all. I think necessarily it does always start with yourself first, you know, and then it branches outward. But yeah, it's so dope that you're doing that, and I mean, shoot, any way I can help, just let me know. I'm definitely
No,
down. You know what I mean?
appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. It's just why not? If it don't hurt to help somebody, do it. And don't expect help. But I don't help somebody because you want to be helped. Help somebody because you can. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So, it's like that. But other than that, we chilling, man. We just, opening up. See, about to open up our donations and shit soon, and
Hmm.
just get ready to try to, push it together for the next year.
Oh yeah, what's that? I was trying to think like, what's the next semester coming out? No, next school year. It's almost next school year
Yeah,
already.
yeah. Almost. We tend to have our scholarship in the middle of the year, in between semesters for college students
Hmm.
and shit. So they have a little bread for second semester. I think this year we're pretty much focusing. I think we're gonna like pause the scholarship this year and focus
Hmm.
on. We're up to about 40 recipients. So
Hmm.
like, how do we, activate them and kind of incubate them? So I think we're trying to set up programming for them. So we have like students and others that we wanna just like follow on their journey, and then bring back the scholarship next year with like a larger amount. So should be cool.
Now, yeah, that's dope as hell. I mean, look, fam, thank you so much for jumping on. I do have another question. This one
Yeah.
involves a little bit more of you visualizing
Okay.
yourself, you
Okay.
know.
For sure.
So I want you to think about that time when you was about to cop those Air Jordan 20s, right?
Mm,
You
yeah.
young Femi,
All the time.
in
Yeah.
it. So now you're you,
Mhm.
this age you travel
Yeah.
back in time behind yourself, about to open that box. What would you tell young Femdot as they open that box?
Uh, you made the right decision. You made the right decision. These are a great
uh,
pair of shoes. They're going to really do a lot for your confidence and who you are. And you got a good eye for sneakers, man. You got a good eye for shoes. And just keep that eye. Not just for shoes, but for everything. Like, you have a sense of style that's yours. Um, hold on to that.
yo, I mean, perfectly said, man. It's a huge honor having you on.
Thank you, man.
Let everybody know where they can find you. Also, I'll plug that in the beginning as
For
well. But let
sure.
everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, so everyone can find me at FEMDOTDOTCOM at femdot.com on every platform. Or you can really just type in Femdot. I'm typically the first person you're gonna see.
Hmm.
And yeah, you know what I mean? I'm everywhere doing the things, man. Come hear some good music.
Yo, for real, for real. I mean, definitely catch him on a show if you see him on a show. He crushes it. I
Yeah,
mean,
appreciate that.
man takes his shirt off and he starts rapping. It goes crazy.
That's around my head like a helicopter. Yeah, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
All that.
yeah.
All that. That's
Oh,
it.
I wanted to ask you, how was that? Like, I mean, you was this is the four shows over, right? You
We
did
got
all
one.
four?
We got one more in
Oh, we got
Chicago.
one more. But how has been the tour, your first headlining tour?
It's been cool, man. I'm just blessed that I'm able to afford to do it. Touring is so expensive. People
Hmm.
don't really think about that when you're playing for so many people, especially when you're independent and you have to fund everything.
Hmm.
So even just being able to do it and like being in certain rooms and being like, all right, like, I think it's interesting too because we're in certain rooms where it's like, all right, like, everyone's here for me. That's kind of crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that realization is wild.
Like, it's kind of crazy because I'm used to, this is like my third, fourth tour, but like, all of them have been with like other people. So even
Hmm.
if they're like in a sold out room and it's packed perimeter, area to area, everyone may not be there for me. So even if I'm in a room that's like not sold out or in a room that's packed out or whatever, or it could be 10 people there, I think the difference is like they're here for me. Like, this
Hmm.
is crazy. Like y'all know all these words. Like, you know what I mean? So super humbling, bro. Like a whole new level of like gratitude. Just on like, damn, like, one, I'm able to do this. I feel people who are, technically bigger than me or whatever who are able to do this. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like,
Hmm.
damn, I really have a fan base that appreciates me as an artist. Um, Even though it's like hard to market, it's hard to do whatever in this climate, like, like Instagram or whatever,
Hmm.
paint the ads and shadow banning and all type of shit. So the fact that people, one, still pull up and people like pull up for me,
Hmm.
it's kind of crazy. It's kind of insane. So it's like a whole like different level of like gratitude unlocked for sure.
Well, man, I'm grateful for you for hopping on the
No,
podcast with me. We
it's
talk
so
we
good.
talk all of this.
Appreciate that, and I'm glad I was
Yo,
able to make it happen.
yo, for real. And for everybody out there, you know what we say each week: wear your kicks. Peace.